Okay, so as you can see in the sadhana, sadhana is a manual how to practice. That's what the word means, like, you know, you have a cooking recipe. It says purification with the 4 opponent powers, because these 4 opponent powers are very, very important. So just briefly, before we start, it's the power of dependence. Sometimes it's called the power of reliance. Sometimes it's called the power of the object. Okay? Object. Taking refuge, generating bodhicitta. You need an object. Why? Because when we do negative actions, we do it with objects. Object is not just inanimate object. Object can also be a person. Yeah? We do it with something or somebody. Yeah? So that's why we create negative karma in relationship to the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, but also in relation with other people. So by taking refuge, because when you take refuge, when you become a Buddhist, you make a strong determination not to harm others voluntarily. Okay? You still do because of tendencies, habits, and this is why we need to purify, but at least you don't justify it. Yeah? When you feel that you've been really nasty to somebody and you say, yes, I was nasty, I'm really sorry, it's not good to do. Or when you steal, or when you kill, or when you whatever. Yeah? This is when taking refuge. So that helps you to be more mindful of your actions. And then of course, you know, if we harm other beings and we make a promise to lead them out of samsara, yeah, that's a good way to make up for having harmed them. That's much better than to buy them a box of chocolate or something like that. You know, because we want to repay that we have disturbed their peace of mind by then leading them out of samsara. So that is the power of dependence, which, you know, there is 4 results from karma. Do you remember that? Something? 4 results? 4 karmic results?
4 karmic results? According to the action, no?
Always, the result is always according to the action.
So it's the same result as the action? Is that what you mean? Like
yeah, something like this, yeah.
Act and then the result is similar
Yeah.
to the action?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Never disappeared.
Huh?
Karma is always expanding.
Yeah, these are the characteristics of karma. The 4 results. The first one is the ripening result. That one determines where you're going to be reborn. Okay? Then you have that one, you say, so let's say negative action, you're reborn in a lower state from that. Then when that rebirth is, when you die there, the rebirth is finished, but some residue is still remaining, then you get, let's say you have a human rebirth, and then you still have moments where you, like action from killing, where you have a short life, or you're sick all the time, or you get killed. Yeah, this is the result that is similar to the cause, and then the result similar to the action. You create the habit of doing it. Yeah, so we have the ripening result, which is being reborn, which throws us into positive or negative. You know, good rebirth, not so good rebirth. Huh? Throwing karma. Okay. Then you have a result that is the same thing is happening to you. Then you have a result where you develop a habit, and you have an environmental result. Like a negative environmental result would be nowhere to practice Dharma, no other people, you know, no teachings and all this, and it's very hard to survive. Like the crops always go bad. There's not enough rain. It's very dirty. These would be environmental results. So the power of dependence reverses the environmental result. Okay? Yeah, because taking refuge, you make your mind familiar. I want to practice Dharma. Why? Because I want to benefit all other sentient beings. You will be born in situations where this can happen. Then the power of regret. So that's what we need to, you know, no guilt, no shame, but just, yeah, I've done negative actions, no good. I want to purify that because either out of fear, because now here the power of regret, it reverses the ripening result, so it doesn't throw you into into the next rebirth, kind of thing. So you purify either that through fear, I don't want to be born there, or through joy. If I purify, you can also be joyful, then I will have not such a bad rebirth. So, you know, whatever works better. Yeah.
But now I think that even if the result is happening and the result is negative, it's still good because it's bad karma, exhaustion. So it's not...
Yeah, but if negative, it's not really...
It's not always true.
It depends how you see it. So you see, when we say negative karma ripening, that would be somebody steals my stuff, I get really angry, and then I go and steal his stuff. That would be really negative karma ripening in a negative way. Whereas if negative karma ripening, I understand, oops, I created the cause already in this life, stealing from my parents, I better not be angry at him. I actually can say, thank you, you bring my negative karma to ripen, which is not what the world would say. And then out of compassion for him, real compassion, I would try to make him stop cheating people or stealing from other people. Yeah? But until that compassion is really genuine, you know, it's up here, the compassion, I want to correct other people for their sake. It's more for our sake, because if it's somebody that we're absolutely not interested in, we're not interested in correcting them. Yeah, so that's what I mean. It's mostly self-interest when we want to correct other people, how they should behave. So yeah, what you say is true, you know, but it's very difficult for negative karma to ripen and to have that kind of understanding and to turn it into something positive. That the Tibetans did because they had this training before the Chinese army invaded. So they had these tools ready to use and they worked, so that's why they don't have anger. Yeah. Yeah.
When we say regretting.
When you say you what?
Regret.
Regret, yeah.
It always goes together with confession. You have to confess what you regret upon, or it's...
No, I mean, regret is something, okay. I didn't make the tea myself, let's say. I am allergic to a certain herb, okay? Like geranium. Like, you know, this geranium tea, I get a headache from that one. So I didn't notice, let's say, somebody else made the tea, I drink it, there's regret. I shouldn't have drank it, because now I know I will have a headache.
But it's passive because you drank it. What if you commit?
No, wait. So the first thing is I need to see I did something that is not helpful. It's the power of regret. Then it's the power of, what do I do now? You come into the present. I can go and find, who did this tea? I told you that I don't like this geranium thing. I'm getting headaches and get very angry. And while I get angry, I get even more headache, okay? That is not a good way of regret. But just to see, yeah, I should have been more careful. I know that allergic is a big word, but I do get a reaction. So I can blame myself by saying I could have smelled it because it has a very strong smell. Yeah? And then is, what do I do now? Yeah?
So it's taking the responsibility for what
Totally.
happens.
Yeah? Totally.
So many times it becomes like self-deprecating or
Huh?
self-hate.
Yeah, so many times.
Yeah,
Because we
I shouldn't have done that.
because we forget about the karmic result of habit and tendencies. Urges, you know, these create these urges where we can't do in another way. We forget, and then we start to hate ourselves because we think knowing it up here is enough. But as long as we have these imprints of tendencies, these impulses, they will be too strong for us to resist. Yeah? This is why actually you see in the Kagyu tradition, before they start with anything, bodhicitta, emptiness and all this, they do what is called nundros. It's called preparation practices. So for 3 years they go into retreat, like people who then practice Dharma seriously, like, you know, it becomes their life, like monks and nuns, or lay people. But they don't go to work anymore. This is what they want, to attain enlightenment really quickly. They go and do prostrations, mandala, Vajrasattva, and Guru Yoga for you know, many times. 100,000 times this, 100,000 times this, more than once. Because our mind is so full of garbage. Our mind is so full of garbage. Or our mind is like a field. It picks up everything, yeah? Has its own opinion, immediately makes something out of it. So it's like a field that is not ready to receive good seeds. I mean, it can receive good seeds, but if the field is full of plastic and full of stones and full of like chemicals and fertilizer and all these kind of things, and you put these wonderful seeds of emptiness and bodhicitta, it won't grow properly. Yeah, this is why it comes at the beginning with the Tibetans, but we Westerners, we don't have time. And we're intelligent, so we start with emptiness and we start with bodhicitta because we can do it.
So you do it before
This was meant in a cynical way.
So you do it before you start the accumulation of merit path? I mean, before you start the practice of accumulation of merit, you need to clean.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's also a bit of a culture thing, right? They're born into Buddhism. So they already know from a young age, this is, I want to become monk or a nun. Or I want to do, I want to give a lot of time to this. I want to do long retreats, like 3-year retreats. It's very common in the Kagyu tradition for people to do 3-year retreats. It's not, you know, in the Gelug's, like, oh, really? Like, everybody does it. So you do, at the beginning of this retreat, you do these 4 nundros. At the same time, meditating a lot about precious human rebirth, impermanence and death, karma, suffering of samsara. So these are called the 4 common preliminaries. And then the others are the uncommon preliminaries. The uncommon preliminaries are the, you know, purifying negative karma with Vajrasattva, creating merit with mandalas, Guru Yoga with you get the blessing of the Guru, that which you also need, because otherwise nothing moves dramatically. Otherwise we just kind of stagnate a little bit, because again we stay in our comfort zone. And then what else did I say? Prostrations is arrogance. Yeah, we purify our arrogance with the prostration. So that's what they do. So they combine these 4 ordinary preliminaries, and then they do shine, shamatha, latong, like special insight, and then deity yoga. This is how they do these things. Yeah. So, you know, taking 3 months off to do a Vajrasattva retreat in wherever it's offered, and you have the possibility to do that. If it's in India or Nepal, it doesn't cost so much. It's really good, because your mind becomes quite clear, and then you see that this works. If you do it like once a day, 21 times, yeah, it's good, but you know, we create so much more at the same time. Again, you know, we go out. Geshe Tektok, oh, we have to start with Sadhana, otherwise we won't finish. Geshe Tektok, he said, you know, we have stacks and stacks and stacks and stacks of storehouses full of, or oceans, he said, oceans of negative karmic imprints, of tendencies, habits, and negative things happening to us. Yeah, because with every thought, with every word, with every action, you create more. You know. And he says, and then, you know, we start with a cup, yeah, to empty it. Yeah, we do once a year, we do a weekend of Vajrasattva. And we actually even talk more about it than actually doing it. Yeah, boom. And then after 1 weekend, we say, oh, it's not working. I don't see a difference. You know, out of these millions of cups in there, 2 are less, and we want to see something. Yeah. Also, when you do long purification retreats, you feel terrible most of the time. Because you have your negative karma coming up.
Newness.
Huh? Newness. Well, it depends. Also, you can have very, very blissful states in newness. So, or also in purification retreats. But the thing is, whatever happens is okay. But no, we want to feel blissful in our practice. We want to feel inspired. We want, because life is difficult enough. Why should I also suffer in the practice? You know. So, because we don't see the result of what we're doing, this is why there's no joy. This is why we can't bear the hardships. So the power of regret, yeah, just saying, shit, I shouldn't have, sorry for now I said it. I just said, I should have smelled it, you know. I didn't, so I'm not going to blame somebody else. They didn't know that I don't drink this geranium thing, okay? And then the action, what do? I go vomit. This is reciting the mantra. is the power of, where is it? The power of the action, the power of the remedy, it's called, mantra recitation. Yeah. So the mantra recitation purifies the purifies the thing coming back. Sometimes it's a bit, with the 4 results, sometimes it's not quite clear, is it really that or is it really that? So the power of regret, I would say it really purifies the ripening result. Sometimes they say it's the power of the action that purifies the ripening result. I don't know. Anyway, these 4 powers need to come together. So what cleans what, again, doesn't matter so much because you read it differently in different places. And then the power of determination or the power of restraint, that is clear. That purifies the tendencies. Yeah. So the power of taking refuge, generating bodhicitta, purifies the environmental result. The power of regret purifies being thrown into lower states. Yeah. And then the power of the action, which is the mantra recitation, purifies the action coming back. You know, something negative happens to you, and then the power of restraint or the power of determination, sometimes it's called, purifies the tendency. And if any of these 4 powers is missing, the purification is incomplete. And by the way, I read in the Jerusalem Post, when you have Yom Kippur, what you do the 4 opponent powers as a Jew. Because if you don't make a strong determination at the end also not to repeat the action, it's not working. That's what it said.
But you asked forgiveness for that.
Yeah, but you need to regret, and you need to make a strong determination not to repeat the action. And you fast.
And you ask forgiveness from everyone, not only from God.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. So, but you can see them. This is asking for forgiveness, is regretting, is doing something about your negative action. Saying, look, I'm sorry, I hurt you, I'm really sorry. Yeah. Please forgive me, that's a big step. So in Buddhism you'd say you have no right to ask for forgiveness, allow people to give it to you. So, but, you know, as arrogant Westerners, we have to learn to forgive ourselves, that we are not perfect. That's what our job is. Yeah.